Well, I doubt many of you saw this knife review coming. Here is a Lone Wolf Lobo. It is a dual action automatic blade and it's not cheap. Around the $200 mark, probably less on the internet if you look around. Very unusual design and it's cool. It's a cool blade. And by double action, let me show you what I mean. First off, it can function as an automatic knife if you actuate this scale. And the way we do that is just kind of slide it like so. See how that moves? That's how you're going to actuate it as an automatic knife. The double, or the second way of actuating the blade, will be just a manual action folder. So you could actually carry and use this knife as you would any other small folding or tactical folding knife, and no one would be the wiser to know that it's an automatic blade. By the way, why are automatic blades so expensive? Seriously, this knife should cost around, I don't know, 90 bucks if that. And yet we're hovering around the $200 price point on this blade. You know, the retailer I'm at, that's what it is. That's too much. And again, on the internet, it might be $170. Still too much. Automatic blades, in my opinion, are pretty much oversold. And yeah, I own a few of them. You've seen them. I've reviewed them. Reviewed some of my friends as well. I think a manual action folding knife, if it's properly designed, is just as fast and just as cool. You know, look at the Benchmade Model 940. You want to see how a manual action overall utility or a tactical folder should be made? Look at that Benchmade 940. I mean, that thing just rips out. It's got that super cool and strong axis lock mechanism. Now, that's not to say the Lobo isn't cool. It is, and you will impress your friends with it if you buy it. I'll tell you right now. I mean, they're going to be stupefied probably of how to get this out in an automatic fashion, and then you'll do it, and they'll say, I don't know how to do it. So on that second kind of cool, I'm sure it will deliver in spades. It does have a good blade steel, S30V, good rust resistance, excellent edge holding, unusual blade shape, kind of reminiscent to me of the SIG Arms Pterodactyl. Remember when I reviewed that? I'm not a huge fan of this double curvature in a blade. To me, granted, it's very mild in the Lobo. But to me, it kind of makes the knife a little bit difficult to sharpen. And again, I'm not the best knife sharpener in the world. I like to keep my blades exactly perpendicular to my resharpening media. And that's more difficult to do when you have a lot of organic curves in your blade design. It is flat ground, not hollow ground, coming down from about the 3/4 point of the spine. That's decent. Nice bead blast finish on it. Kind of a swedge on the top. And ground, unusually, on the top would be very effective in the piercing job, I would think. However, I'm going to put this knife in a EDC category, not a tactical category. I just think the blade is too small. It's too small for me. That's not to say it couldn't function that way. Surely it could. I just will. That's just a little bit on the small side. How's the edge as it comes out of the box? Impressively sharp. Very impressively sharp. Like it. If you are going to use this as a manual action tactical folder, you probably will not dig that thumb hole. I think it's too small. You can get a grip on it, but it's not like Spyderco, and it's going to take a little bit of a technique to get it out quickly. However, I think most people, especially if they're going to pony up to the bucks on this knife, are going to deploy it as a good Lord intended, and that is as an automatic blade. And it is fun. I'll tell you that. It's fun. Sorry, the battery died. I'll join those clips. But I was talking about the fun factor on this, and it is fun. Actuating that scale and initiating that automatic deployment on the Lone Wolf Lobo. Very cool. By the way, that, if you know Spanish, that basically means Lone Wolf Wolf. Lobo being wolf, of course, in Espanol. Pretty interesting. Hey, how's that jimping on there? Decent, actually. For once, there's a knife maker that knows how to do jimping. I'm not for once. I'm being a little bit facetious. But look how deep and sharp that jimping is. Very functional. I like it. And it's deep enough where if crud gets in it, it's still going to provide you with a good purchase. I like that. And it's carried all the way to the back of the knife. Although it insets deep enough in the handle, you pretty much won't feel it back there. You will feel it up here. No problem. This is a liner lock, by the way. Some guys might have an issue with that. I like liner locks. I think I've kind of proven they're strong enough for tactical purposes with the stabbing protocol video. Granted, that was just one knife maker and one knife, but I think it's representative of the breed. You can get a peek of those phosphor bronze bushings inside of the Lobo there that help make the deployment fast and smooth. Oh, here we go to the pocket clip. Big ding on this. You are forced to carry it in one method and one method only, and that is tip down, as Lone Wolf always forces on us. Lone Wolf, why do you always do that? I wish you would change. Give us a 4-corner option, just like Spyderco does, especially how you doing at this price point. This price point, you should give guys options. Drill and tap it in all 4 corners. Let a guy carry a knife how he wants to. If it's tip up, tip down, give us options. Also, the clip is very simplistic for this price point of a knife. I would expect a little bit more, and I can't really critique its strength. It seems like a very strong clip, but I would definitely like to have the option, of course, for tip-up carry. But can't have everything. By the way, it's not a flow-through design. In other words, it's going to have what looks to be a Zytel or maybe G10 backspacer between the handle, and that's pretty on par with most automatic knives. Most are not flow-through designs. In fact, all of them that I know are not. By the way, G10 handles on this, and they're very similar to the Spyderco Military's handles in feel and in texturing. In fact, I'll call it identical. Just identical. So if you like the Spyderco or the Pellet Paramilitary's handles, you'll like this one as well. Also, the same can be said for the CRKT Drifter, same type. They're probably the same supplier that's doing them. You can take the scales off, thankfully. They're using mini Torx screws there to do it, so that should be an easy affair. The overall blade shape, I don't know if I spoke to this. Yeah, I did kind of, but not real fond of. That's just me. You know what it reminds me of is that the Blade Tech blade shapes. The Milek, the MLEK knife, kind of like that. They're just not super fond of it. However, some guys might be, and some guys will definitely be fond of the double action that this knife provides. Quick review, that is the Lone Wolf Lobo knife. If you can ante up for the money, I think you'll have fun playing with it. Could be a good EDC blade too. Nutnfancy out.